Reckless talk. Son of a Justin. Hey, reckless talk. But I got expensive habits. Don't step in salt.
Cheers.
All right. Yeah, Kwame. So predicted lineup. Here we go. So today, Badan has to start from the forwards coming back. Okay.
Yep.
So now let's start with the left wing side. Martinelli. Would you want us to play Martinelli, but on the left wing side, or?
I feel like he needs a rest, but because this is a revenge mission,
Yeah.
I think we'd go with Martinelli. Yes.
Yeah, I think I'll go with I agree. I think I'll go with Martinelli number one because it's this is a physical game, and Martinelli, but this is a fast-paced player. So despite the fact that he's dropped form, and I feel like by the way he has dropped form this season, but I feel
Yeah,
like
yes.
him by the way, the runs by the somehow, as much as he's not going to score, but he's running definitely, but they might disorient these players.
Yeah. Then
So
yeah.
yeah, so I think I'll start Martinelli by the in the left wing side. My center forward. Like I think we're doing when we talked about in our match preview, we talked about benching, not starting Trossard because number one in this kind of games. Just a moment. Sorry, I was a bit interrupted. So I was saying in that center forward position, by the way, I think I'll start Kai Havertz because remember this is a physical game. Basically, the way I'll play this game just like the Liverpool game. Because Liverpool game, people, in fact, when Mikel Arteta started Kai Havertz as a center forward, guys wondering what the hell is Mikel Arteta thinking of? But I mean, tactically, we beat Klopp. We beat Klopp. So
Yeah.
I think by then for this game, my center forward will be Kai Havertz. Then maybe later on we can now bring what's this guy Trossard, because that guy, I mean, for the past like 2 games we watched him. When he starts a game, he gets
He's
lost.
ineffective. Yeah.
Very, very ineffective. Off the bench, quite an effective player. But full 90 minutes, not working. Then now in the right wing, who would you start? Bukayo Saka, obviously. Or you want to start Reece Nelson?
No. For this game, a game like Newcastle, if it was Burnley, if it was Luton, but a game like this one, because if you underestimate Newcastle, they can surprise you with a goal, then they defend. Because you see, that's the
Oh
other
yeah.
thing. Like everything can change within a few minutes. If Newcastle come in and score within the first 10, 15 minutes, then they decide now, since Arsenal are very good at home, let us play on the counter. So that means they're going to just wait for us to make a mistake and counter us and score. And sometimes that's how they give us so many problems. So I think we need to be very calculating in how we play. We must tell Saka to track back, which he normally does. Martinelli also to track back. That's how we control and dominate teams. Our wingers don't just wait for the ball in front. They attack and then they track back to help support the defense. Yeah. So and then the other thing that I think Mikel Arteta needs to do is, I feel like sometimes we put so much pressure on Rice to save us. Do you know he also saved us a few times on the Porto game? People, if you watch those games again, like the clips,
yeah,
he saved us so many, and he got a yellow the first I think 4 minutes. But and because he's that good, I think other people in sociology they call it loafing. When you have somebody who's so good that the people around him stop giving their best because they know
he's going to do the dirty work.
He's going to do the dirty work if everybody does the dirty work. Because sometimes I find it's only Odegaard and Rice that are doing all the running, doing all the everything. Saka slackens, Martinelli slackens, Trossard slackens, even sometimes Havertz. Sometimes like Saliba, for the first time, he was not a Rolls Royce in Porto game. He was not a Rolls Royce. He was making silly mistakes. But because of his high standard, you don't notice. But they were saved so many times by Rice, because Rice if there's a quality he has, is composure, whether the game is big or small. He always plays a 9 or a 10.
Yeah.
But for these youngins, when they get a game where there's pressure, a historical game like the Porto, we are coming back to the Champions League. There's this, the crowd is making noise. The world is watching. Everybody is saying Arsenal could win the Champions League. Suddenly, they fall apart, and I don't blame them. They're kids. This is part of the growth, right? So I think Mikel Arteta needs to ingrain in them that, look, we are very close to we are not yet world class, but we are very close to world class. And part of being world class is concentrating for 90 minutes, is everybody doing their job. Don't ride on Gabriel Jesus, don't ride on Rice, don't ride on Odegaard, because you notice when Odegaard has an off game, then now we don't play as well. You see?
Yeah.
So everybody's riding on Odegaard's creativity. So teams notice that if they mark Saka, Odegaard, and Odegaard, then our creativity sort of disappears.
Yeah.
You understand? But if Havertz was doing his job, Martinelli was doing his job, Trossard, if everybody was doing their job, that's when you are seeing, like the goals where we were scoring 5-0, whatever nil, we sat here and said, the reason why we were scoring at those goals is because when everybody was playing at a 9 or a 10 level. But most of the time, it's only specific people, mostly Rice. I feel Rice does too much dirty work that now we are taking him for granted. If he gets injured, now we are going to feel the pinch. But if everybody gives 110%, then it could be way better.
Yeah, then you go to the midfield. So my midfield basically for this game, for me, I think I played Jorginho on the left side. DM, I played Declan Rice, and of course by the right side of the midfield, I'll play Odegaard. I mean, would you
my
play
only
this
question to you? My only question to you is, the same problem Trossard has is the same problem Juninho has when he plays a midfield that is physical. Gomeras is going to have Juninho for dinner, because he's going to body check him, he's going to rough him up, so that's why Havertz plays in there, because you can't bully him because he's tall and big. So
actually, that now makes me change my tactic a bit, because now, if just remember, when you play the first leg, Bruno G bullied Jorginho. I'm telling you, he bullied him in the midfield. So actually, come to think of it, if that's the case, then what I'll do basically, I'll bring now Kai Havertz back in the midfield.
Sadly, and that's why we need to buy a midfielder, because we have rubbish midfield. When I say rubbish, I mean we don't have options. Because Partey would have been imagine if we had Rice, Partey, and Odegaard. My friend, there's no talking. You see, a fit Partey with Rice and Odegaard, that midfield is a killer, But the problem, we don't have Partey, and we still haven't yet invested in the midfield. So for now, we only have Havertz as an option there that can play. So we just need to whatever. But also maybe to Havertz's benefit, sometimes this lack of that has given him room to grow. Because if you're sitting on the bench, his confidence would still be low. I think playing games has built his
confidence. Yeah.
So that next season, because I know when Timber comes back, when we buy Zubimendi, and we have Zubimendi in fact, for me, I am secretly hoping and praying, is that we buy Zubimendi, get rid of Elneny, Smith Rowe, and whatever, and then as we begin the season, miraculously, because it happens sometimes in football. Now, I hope they have discovered all of Partey's problems. Now we have a fit Partey for the rest of the season. Now imagine we have Partey, Rice, Zubimendi, Odegaard, Havertz. My friend, that will be a serious midfield, because when this one comes out, this guy can...
In fact, actually, but there's something I was watching on YouTube about Mikel Arteta. What made Mikel Arteta at Arsenal? I'll actually share that thing, by the way. And he said that, of course, he was talking about him winning the FA Cup, in his formative years of coaching at Arsenal. Then you're saying last season, what really one of the biggest lessons he learned last season was legs. You need legs in the end business part of it. And unfortunately, we didn't have legs. We had injuries. We had, we just had players. I mean, look at guys like this guy, this Maldini guy. Well, I used to call him the guy who had Maldini. This tall guy. What's his name? The guy who went to Crystal Palace.
Crystal Palace.
See I've even forgotten about his name. But when Saliba got injured, Rob Holding, we had Rob Holding defense. We didn't have legs. We had guys who are just completely not up for it.
Yeah.
So in the end business part of it, we need legs, and I think probably maybe that's the reason why Partey, he could be fit, but they're just waiting for the right time to unleash him, because they know if they unleash him early, this guy could probably get injured again. But anyway, I think we're losing the conversation, kidogo.
Yeah.
So we now go back to the defense. For me, the defense. Let me start with the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper play Raya well, but still that goal. It was a classic goal was it Galeno?
Let's give it props to that guy. I mean, such a goal.
That was a classic goal.
The ball curved.
Yeah, that was a classic goal. Even the best goalkeepers in the world would have probably maybe, not saved that. So that was a classic goal. So in the goalkeeping position, I think I'll start Raya. Then the center backs, the center backs, of course, Gabriel Magalhaes, Saliba. There's just something in Saliba. Get this. He's very good, very composed, and we definitely need Saliba. Those are the legs I'm talking about. The legs we need till the end of the season. Though just few things, just few details that maybe I think he needs to sort out. Few details. Like I'll give an example. To be world class. Like I'll give an example. When you watch that FC Porto game, those guys hit the post. You remember the first half? They hit the post.
Yes.
The ball bounced back. Saliba froze. He froze.
He froze. Yeah.
Then I'll give an example of when we were playing Liverpool. You saw the mistake, the lack of communication he had with Raya to a point. We had a non-goal by Gabriel Magalhaes.
Yes.
So there are those tiny details that I'm not really worried about them, because I know Saliba is Saliba, by the way, and he should be able to sort it out.
This is the comfort level I'll give you, and this is why everybody has copied Arsenal's strategy of building a youth, because the problems the teams will be having next season, Arsenal will be way ahead, because we'll have a young squad but have been through all these challenges. Now Chelsea, you see how Chelsea is struggling. Why? Because they are where Arsenal was 2 years ago.
Oh yeah,
they bought very expensive players, very young, but now they can't handle the pressure. They're still learning each other. But they have a lot of promise. You see, so for us, since we learned from our mistakes, and we said now we're going to base our team on youth. And you see, the thing with youth is you need to give them time. So next season, I think once we buy whatever, we are going to have now Arsenal 2.0, because I think defense, we are there or thereabouts. If Timber was there, I think now would be almost like Leverkusen level, like almost unbeatable. Like you can't penetrate.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now once we fix the midfield and attack, I think now we are going to be very close to the Real Madrid's, very close, because right now you find the XG, most teams that play with us, like Liverpool had only 2 chances in the last time they played with us. Most teams have less than 5 chances the whole game.
Right.
So that tells you the level. So for me, I'm not too worried. I think there's also a debate that's going on. There's this Sporting Lisbon defender called Diomande. I don't know whether you know him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Arsenal are looking to buy him so that now he can support Gabriel and Saliba in central defense. Why? Because he's a ball-playing defender. Because we cannot depend on these 2 guys to hold that defense throughout. So if they can be switching with Diomande, because he's very dominant, he's powerful, and he can play the ball. So I think when we have that competition, Because I think Saliba right now and Gabriel, they know that without them, there is nobody else.
Yeah.
But if they have a third person,
and actually that is very dangerous. That's very dangerous actually, because there's some sense of complacency. Not even complacency. Imagine one of them gets injured. Just imagine.
yes, yeah.
So see that we're actually
That's when
trading
you look
on.
at Man City. When you look at Man City in their defense, I think for each of the central defenders, they have somebody to replace them.
Yeah. So I think actually by the working on a thin line, one injury from the back four. I'm telling you, could prove to be very, very future. So now we go to the right wing. Ben White for me. Then the left wing.
Ben
Keyword, I think.
White has been playing so well. The Porto game is where he also had an off game. So most of the team had an off game during the Porto. Ben White, of course, needs to play this game. He's been playing well so far. So I think it was a confidence thing. I think they're just intimidating. Like Porto is like Anfield of Europe. Like when you go there, not very many teams win there. Not very many teams. Even the big teams hardly win. So so I think this is part of the growth. I think we are lucky because I can imagine if this midfield didn't have Rice, would have fallen apart. Because I think mentally Rice holds the team together. He doesn't panic. Yeah, so this is why you see. I think such games is why you remember that these guys are kids. This is why you remember they're kids. Yeah. So
Yeah. So anyway, basically that's our predicted 11. You guys drop your thoughts in the comment section. Let us know how you play it out. Kwame, I think the games are 23 hours. Let's touch base then.
All right. Cheers.
All right, come on, you Gunners.